Hey guys, so probably some people have really upset you recently, right? Or maybe over the period of time, and you have been really thinking, okay, I am in my 30s or my 20s are about to be over. So I'm currently 31 years old, and I definitely do not think that my life is coming to an end, or I cannot probably accomplish the things which I set my foot to. I'm 31 and I haven't done anything probably compared to what I want to do, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. I got financially independent at the age of 25 because that's when my parents fulfilled their wishes to get me to become an engineer, finish my MBA, and all of that got completed with one gap year in between my engineering and my MBA. All of that got over by the year 2015, right? And I was 25, and that's when I started earning for the first time in my life. And I was in the city of Mumbai, so it took me 3 years, I would say, to break even, like in some manner or form, because I had my credit cards going on as well. So I think it's only been the last 2 years where my salary has improved significantly. I have been financially independent in the truest of the terms for me personally. I know how not to go crazy when I go shopping, and I'm not impulsive. I'm not an impulsive person anyway. I really like taking risks, but I'm not gonna go crazy. Like, I usually evaluate my options, and I'm usually very certain about things that I want. If you give me 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I'm gonna walk along probably the whole of Kolaba Causeway. I'm in a place that I really absolutely love, so I'm gonna go from one end to the other end and figure out where I want to pick my stuff from and which are the ones that I exactly love. So I know what my likes and dislikes are. So all of this maturity, and let's say the amount of money that I probably could spend now on mental health, the amount of money that I could spend myself, all of that has been happening only for the last 2.5 years. And you're telling me that, or people are telling me that my life is over at 31. That's bullshit. Like, that's the biggest bullshit that I have ever heard. Now, the first thing that you have to do, and I think you've heard it enough number of times, X number of people have told you this, you have to stop comparing yourself. And I have actually learned this more from people who I follow, who are my workout gurus. They always say this thing, right, that you cannot compare your 1 year or 2 year of, let's say, you lift, right? So you cannot compare that body to somebody who has been working out for the last 5 or 6 years consistently, and they have a very healthy relationship with their food and their workout and the other habits in their life. So you cannot compare these two things, and then you are not just watching one person, right? You are probably watching videos of one person, another person. You keep scrolling, and then YouTube gives you all these suggestions. So you're constantly subconsciously, see, you already know this, okay? So this is nothing new. I know this, but I still keep getting overwhelmed from time to time. Why? That happens because momentarily, on a subconscious level, we end up comparing ourselves, and we feel sorry for ourselves. We feel sorry for ourselves because it's a comfort zone. It's like the art of procrastination. We intentionally put off things for the later time because we know that there is too less of time to achieve it. Now, subconsciously, it's intentional. It's intentional because that's your comfort zone. You know probably it couldn't get done. So when you actually procrastinated and still ended up doing it and did a good job, you tell yourself that you're smart. And if you couldn't do it, then you tell yourself that there was anyway less time, so you couldn't have done it. So either way, you are just creating that safety bucket for yourself. So that's my second point after comparing. You have to somewhere stop having those safety nets unless and until absolutely necessary. Okay, so the necessity part comes in because I get it, like, people who have families, they have got their children, they've got responsibilities. It's difficult. It's really difficult for them, and especially coming from an Indian scenario. I know a lot of people who have very difficult, I would say, let's say, their relationships on a daily level with people staying in the house. They've got expectations. It could get difficult, right? So who am I to tell them that hey, this is the right way of living life? But Let me put my situation in perspective. So I got recently married to, it's just been 2 months that I've been married. But I know, or I got ready to be married only because I know the person in and out. Like my husband, I have known him for the longest period of time. He's been my boyfriend for almost 6 years. And we've spent really difficult times together. We've gone to mental health counselors. We have worked it out before getting married so that we knew for sure that we are getting married. So our values, beliefs, core principles are aligned. That is the base, okay? So I don't feel that I am in rush to do anything. I don't expect him to change. I don't expect him to think that he's going to change me. I have accepted that I don't stay with my parents. I know what kind of background I come from, and I know for a fact that they cannot guilt me into, or I am not going to be guilted by anybody into doing something and then I say that, oh no, like my life sucks. I don't do that. Is it easy? No. It's very hard. It's very hard because you let go of a lot of things. You let go of financial support, which let's say your family could provide. You let go of emotional support to a huge extent, which your family could provide if they were capable of it. You let go of the safety net. So a couple of months back, one of my friends, she said this thing to me, and she said that, you know what, like what differentiates us, like us lower middle class people who are coming from small towns and going on doing great things for ourselves in that matter. So she said that, you know what differentiates us from the others is that we don't have a support to fall back upon, and I think that's why we are a little more skeptical and, you know, like sometimes a bit cynical regarding situations, because we need to cross-check everything. If things fail, I cannot pack my bags and go anywhere. During this quarantine period, I didn't have the option to pack my bags and go home for whatever reason. That's beyond the scope of this video. But what I'm trying to say is this safety net is a perception. You can choose to look at it negatively and think that, yeah, I need that safety net, or you could remove that option B, option C, and option D. I'm not saying that you quit your job and do something crazy. No, take calculated risks, but stop relying on the safety net, because that creates the illusion of a comfort, and it also creates the illusion of you not being complete on your own. Yeah, I think that's the best word. It makes you feel that you are not complete on your own. You cannot be successful on your own unless and until you hold on to anything that brings you nostalgia. And that brings me to the third point. You need to have or change the environment around you. So for example, I love plants, and I love certain kind of plants, right? So I do my own research and I get plants. Now, when I moved from Bangalore to Bombay, I knew very, very well that the room was going to be small. There's never going to be a balcony, right? I mean, balcony is a luxury product, but I love Mumbai as a city because it fuels my energy. It fuels my want to be unnoticed in a crowd. I know it sounds weird, but I love it. I love the fact, barring the quarantine situation, I think people who love Mumbai and who have stayed in Mumbai and maybe they have lived in other places as well could really understand what I'm talking about. So it is this whole idea that you are somebody, you can be yourself in a crowd, but you know people really don't care about you. But if you needed help, they're going to come and help you, and then they're just going to go away. It's simple. It's very simple. So that's the kind of life which I craved. So for me, it was very important that I come back to the city that fuels my inner drive. A city where I can be myself, I can express myself through clothing, something which I love, through fashion, something which I love, and also the way that I talk to people. I can be more gender neutral in my approach to the society. Again, something which I felt to be at the maximum when I'm in Mumbai. So these were the very reasons. And similarly, your environment. So by environment, what I mean is everything that surrounds you, right? So from my desk to the writing on my wall to the plants which are right outside, it's a very, very small space. But since I'm spending so many hours here, this environment somewhere has to match to the things that I love beyond my laptop. right? These are things which when I look out to, I know that I invest my energy here and I get results out of it, so that makes me happy. That's an environment. Environment number 2 could be the friends that you surround yourself with. Now often I have seen people have come and told me this in the past, that childhood friends are the only kind of friends that you should have, and I haven't understood this, and I'm happy to say that it was good while it lasted, and I will help them any day. Like if they come to me or if our paths cross, I'm gonna help them. But I cannot keep holding on to the nostalgia just because we were friends at some point of time and our morals and principles are completely different. Like I cannot be friends with somebody who is homophobic. It's just a no-no for me. I cannot do that. I cannot be friends with somebody in my office who looks down upon women colleagues and talks shit behind their back. I cannot do that. And I think these are some morals and principles, and this is basic, right? There are 100 things like this. This is something which I'm not ready to compromise on, and this list of non-negotiable is part of my environment. That is what I want to surround myself with. Okay, and it is extremely important to have people in your life in whatever form and capacity who can pull you out of your funk. And that brings me to the next point. I've lost count, but yeah, that brings me to the next point. Okay, so I'm talking about people who from a long distance can smell that something shitty is going on in your brain, and you are the one who has the capacity to change it. You are the one who is sitting and dwelling on it, and these are the people who tell you that you gotta come out of it. You gotta come out of it because you are a strong, independent person. You are a successful person and who claims to be strong and independent, right? So, dear friend, I'm gonna, like, suppose I'm that friend, right? So, I'm gonna be like, dear Rusha, I'm gonna be with you. I'm gonna help you, but there's a time limit to this, right? Like, there's a time limit for you to keep dwelling on it. Like, be sad, express your sadness, cry. I mean, that is who Rusha is, by the way. Like, you know, like who I am at the end of the day. I love a good cry. I would get super sad because I don't want to like move on without dealing with it. I've done that enough in the past to know that it doesn't work for me. Empathy is great, but sometimes you need to have people around you who can see through your bullshit and they can come and tell you, and you should have the maturity in yourself to handle that, because that is not criticism. That is a person who cares for you and wants you to get out of that because you are an independent, successful, strong person inside. Okay, so I have written down a few things in my notebook. I keep writing here because I keep forgetting what I'm capable of. Actually, I'm making this video for myself. I know nobody asked, but I think some months down the line when I need to really look back and see who I am and what I'm capable of, I think I'm gonna watch my own video in case nobody watches it anyway. I mean, if I don't watch my video, who else is gonna watch it? Okay, so I'm gonna read this out because it makes so much sense. So I have written that I love to spend my time cooking. I love to spend my time cooking, eating, sleeping, raising plants, playing ukulele, okay, and working out 4 to 5 times a week. And I have changed jobs and industries. I mean, you can go to LinkedIn and have a look at what I have done, and that has been a massive jump, and there are going to be more massive jumps in future because I take my ambitions and career very seriously. So my question is, what is it that you cannot do anymore, or is it just the society's expectations of marking you as expired so that it is easy for them to label you and put you in the box? What do you think? I think it's just society's way of labeling people, you know, because I think this is the last thing, right? You need to be aware of the fact that every person who has an opinion out there, they necessarily didn't do it. They heard it from somebody. Like, I am amused, okay? I'm amused at the number of times somebody has said that my dad said this, my uncle said this, my sister said it, I saw it in my close neighbor situation. Did it happen to you? Did you go through it? Was it your personal experience? No. You read it somewhere, you heard, and a lot of it is misinformation, by the way, because it's not your experience. So I'm tired of being quoted things which somebody has heard, or somebody has, I don't know, like it's some gathered collective information. Who is this regulatory body who is throwing out this information and saying this is the truth? Please tell me that. I think there are a lot of people, right, who haven't done it themselves, who haven't done any of those things that they think is correct or they think is wrong. So they definitely do not like it. If you become one of those very few people they have to come across, and somehow their insecurities get triggered. So oftentimes the naysayers are actually bringing their own projections of insecurities upon you. So the question is, what are you ready to sacrifice? And when we talk about sacrifice, it's not the big things, it's the small things. Your sleep, your food, your habits, your surroundings. And it's all positive, by the way. Nobody's saying that don't sleep. In fact, what I'm trying to say is getting more sleep, eating the right kind of food, getting the healthy habits. Now for that, what do you need to compromise? Maybe alcohol, bad food, junk food. Make your own junk food. Get an air fryer, make your own junk food. I tried it. Fried chicken was so awesome. Your surroundings, your people. If there are discussions going on continuously where people bring you down, when the people in your office bring you down or in your home bring you down, please distance yourself. I don't know how you want to do it. I'm not trying to change their beliefs. I'm just trying to safeguard mine. I'm trying to insulate mine from all that bullshit that is going around me, because it's hard. The last thing I want to do on top of all of this is add another counseling session, because I need time to process my emotions as well. I cannot just pile on mental health sessions without actually giving myself time to even process those emotions. So yeah, most of the people who say that you cannot do something, or somewhere society's insecurities have been projected on you, trust me, that is not true. You can define your future, you can define your present, and you can define what makes you happy. There is no one answer to it. And if more number of people are actually telling you that no, that is not the way it is done, this is how it is done, trust me, that is herd mentality. That is herd mentality, and you do not need to be a part of that herd if you don't feel like it. You have an exit. You have to believe that you have an exit. You figure out what that exit looks like, put a date, put a timeline to it if you want to, or you put like an image to it, and then you design your route. You design the route that you want to take to go to that exit point, and you will have it. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.